Welcome to Inside Outboards with your host, Cody Bass. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Big hello to all the new subscribers and thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And if you like the video, do the thumbs up YouTube thingy and help me out with my channel. You understand? Alright, getting back on the little 18. This will be the final on the electric starter hookup. I'm going to show you how I did it. There are a couple different ways that you actually can do it, but this is the way I've always done it, so it's in the memory bank, and we just leave it there and do it this way. There's a couple other ways you could do it, but anyway, so we had to drill a hole and put a start button. You could use a switch, any kind of momentary switch. You could use a key switch. I just went with a starter button off an a stop button off an OMC Evinrude because I got lots of them. Okay, sometimes on these Johnson Evinrude kill switches, you need to pry this rubber off of there. And inside there's a little copper upside down bell. And when you push it, it makes contacts with those two copper nipples there. So get you a good wire brush, a couple of them, and get in there and clean all that up. If it ain't making good continuity, ain't making good contact. So I'm going to turn my multimeter on the continuity there. Hopefully you can see I got a wire wrapped around each lead, and if I make contact, I should get a beat. Well, that ain't hardly big enough to make contact. Oops. There you go. So, just clean everything up in there. And then in here, get it all clean, shiny, pretty. Scratch it all up. Then you got to get this back on. Sometimes it helps. Put a little lube or something on the actual rubber part or the plastic part I'm at. Because that's the hardest part of the whole thing, is getting the boot back on. Getting the boot back on. There. Getting close. But no cigars yet. Just close. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Maybe. Getting close. One last little thing being kind of there. Now I've got a good starter button or kill switch button or whatever I decide to use it for button. So there and there. So clean them up if you ain't getting nothing. Most of the time, sometimes it'll be a broken wire, but most of the time that's all it is. Just corrosion. Alright, so let me get some more things together. I'll be right back. Okay, so I got a real nice set of leads here. It's just one big long lead, and I'm going to make a pair out of it. So first thing I got to do is cut it in half. So, now I've got two nice, about 6.5 foot leads. Okay, good. So, where's my thing? There's a thing. So I ain't sure what type of things I'm going to go back with yet. But anyway, figure about an inch off of that. Inch and a half, something like that. Roll him round. Roll him round. Roll him round. Dirty. Nice copper. We do that time of two that. We do that time of two that. Roll them around. Okay, there's my couple of wires. So let me get all my wires done up. I'll show you what I put on the end of there, and then I need to clean up this end. Then I need to get some eyes and stuff on my stop switch, or starter switch in this case, and I'll be right back. So I took one of these kind of step bits, and I made me a mark. Hopefully you can see it there in blue, and that's about the size I'll need. It don't look too bad. Let's try it right here then. That's where it's going. Command decision. I'll keep checking. I just want to make sure I don't go way too overboard with it. A little bit more, so I just need to waddle that hole out a little more round, and then she'll be good to go. I think this is going to do it. I think. That looks pretty good. That's where the starter button's going to be. On a stand. Now I've got a whole bunch of whatchamacallits, shavings in there. Well, I'm going to have to do something different there because that red thing's getting in the way. So we might have to do it without it. Unless I can come up with a solution. I think I can. Big bend. Try that. Big bend. Big bend. Oh yeah. I took that same bit and just took a little of the meat off and around this. I think that'll work now. Stupid. Helps if you put it on the right way. You understand? Yeah, it looks like it's got a lot more in there now. Let's see if it do. Ain't got much more, really. But probably enough. So what did I did with it? And I lose my head what slapped on my body. Okay, so we got to get the starter on there now. So find some bolts. There's the long one. Okay, see that bolt hole right there? That's where this longer one goes. It goes right through there and into there. I understand. Oh yeah, then we gotta get that over there. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Alright. Now what? Somewhat like that. I'm over here, you can't see it, but I'm messing with this bell crank riser. I ought to just take this off for right now. I can put that on afterward. That's what I'm going to do. These little clips that hold the bell crank riser on. I want to have them out of my way. And there's my ground wire. There we go. I think we're getting lined up close. What is that? 3 7/16, something like that. Which one of them two? Oh, I think that's the wrong size. Sure looks like the right size though. It is the right size. What's going on? What's going on? There. Get him. That's got to be in there. Whoops. Okay. Then I can't remember what size. Was it this one? Nope. I thought those were. What size is that? What size is that one? I want them all to be the same size, you understand. Okay, that's the wrong bolt then. That's the right one. That's the right one. Might have to loosen that one over there a little bit to get this one started. Oh man. Loosen everything. Get everything lined up right. There it is. The starter is mostly on. Now, we gotta put this little bell cranky thing on. Well, I don't know how I'm gonna get you in there. Come over here, hopefully you can see. Okay. This little deal, which always seems to be a pain in the butts. What's in the butts? Pain. Never wants to start straight. Always wants to act foolish. I just don't get it sometimes. Stay straight. Just ain't gonna do it, are you? Now I gotta get that one. Then I gotta line the other one with another one. Will it ever work? Will it ever work? I'm a winner! I won! Hey, there we go. We got a belt crank. We got a starter. We got wires. Now we just gotta hook it all up. So that's what we gotta do. Let me get my wires all together, my clips and things. I'll be back. I should be wearing a glove. There. I'm sucking around. Woohoo! And you're hot. You're hot. Alright, that should be enough on that one. Let that cool down a little bit. So, I'm going to show you real quick how I put it on there and wired it, and then I'm going to show you a diagram and some stuff you should have before you get started. But how we go? How we go loop de loop? Alrighty, so let's lower you down. There's the starter button. Right there. I put it right there. Now, I'm going to get you in here the best angle I can. Alright, so you've got your two leads coming from the battery. And there they are, right there. A positive and a negative going down to the battery. Okay? So, as they come through, and I just knock them in that hole that's right up under here, up under the carburetor, under the lower cowl pan. The hot comes through, runs along here, comes around, and goes to the main lug, the upper main lug of the solenoid. There it is. Then, the other big heavy lug pointing down, another big heavy wire goes from here to the hot on the starter, which is right there. So it runs around the back and it's tucked right there. So what you got to think of with this solenoid is if you took a regular hot wire and a ground wire from the battery and stuck the hot wire to the hot on the starter and then hit it to here, the starter would spin. That's all this is a continuation of the hot wire. It comes in and comes all the way through the solenoid and down. And when you hit the start button, these other little wires come into play to make a big piece of metal plunger go oop and complete that solid wire to the starter. So that's how the hot works, and that's the purpose of the solenoid. All right, so then you've got these other two little tabs. I hope you can see them, because that's as far as I can get that. Well, yeah, that's about as far as I can get it. But anyway, you've got these two little posts that come out. The upper one is what I call S1. The lower one is S2. S2 just goes straight to ground. I got it run from here right to there. So S2 just goes straight to ground. Now, the only other component to make this thing work is the actual starter switch. It has two wires coming off of it. One of those wires goes to the big lug and is joined with the hot lead, so that gives it hot. The other wire from the start switch goes to S1, which is right there. And when you push that button, it completes a circuit in there that pulls that plunger up, completes the circuit to here, and spins the starter. Now, all these wires are jumbled up and everything, but I'm going to show you what I did via the diagram. The diagram. Ooh, there's the diagram. Let's get you over here a little better. Okay. So, here's your battery. I forgot to draw the battery. Alright, there's negative. And I don't know what I did with my red Sharpie. Oh, there it is. No, that one blue. There it is. And there's your positive. Okay, so you got negative and positive on the battery. Is that in there? No. Alright, so you got your negative and positive leads. I did the positive all in red. The negative lead is black. So as you can see, this negative lead comes up and bolts to the block or one of the starter bolts that holds the starter on. Here it is right here, and there it is. It's bolted to the starter bracket. Hopefully, I got you in there. There's it, right there. That bolt. That's your negative lead. Okay. Your positive lead. My little drawing's off here. There we go. It comes in, just like I said, comes around and goes to the big lug on the solenoid. Then another big wire comes from the other down pointing big lug of the solenoid to the hot on the starter. So, you can see now that if you had just two wires and this solenoid wasn't here and this wire just kept going and you got the hot, put that on the ground, that starter motor would spin. Well, that's going to be the function of this solenoid. Okay, so here's our starter switch up here. You can see those two wires. So, for the S1, God dog it, keep knocking things around. For the S1, right here, the starter, that wire comes to the S1, small post. The upper small post, same side as the original hot wire. It shares that big lug. So that's S1. Coming from the starter switch button. Okay. The other one from the switch, this wire goes to S1. The other wire from the switch goes to the big lug. So, one wire from the button to the big lug. The other wire from the start button to the S1 small lug. Both on the same side. The S2 just goes and grounds to the block. That makes the complete circuit. So I'll let you stare at that. This is the way I've always done it. There are a couple other ways you can do it, I understand. I've just always done it this way. For one, it keeps my leads from like the starter button and the ground, everything. It keeps it all short. The only real long lead I have is the main hot wire that comes through to the starter. Everything else is real short and compact in one area. That's why I do it this way. But so there's your diagram. Now, I wanted to show you a few other things while I got you here. When you go to do this job, you should have something like that. It's just one of these kits, and you can buy them anywhere, and it comes with all the different size connectors and stuff like that. It just, and you don't have to buy one this elaborate or whatever. Just, you know, go to your hardware store, auto parts store, whatever, and get you one of these little electric wire cables. They got them in little plastic trays. It's all you need, but you're going to need different sizes. Something else you're going to need, and I'll show you why in the video coming up, you know, a little multimeter. And you really only need the one setting for me, which is the continuity setting. So that when you're testing the starter switch, basically, you're going to, ooh, I'm beeping, see, I beep, ooh, when I type beep. So when you push that starter button, you know it's good. So get you a little multimeter. You don't, yeah, try and get a digital one. This one, I think I bought this at Napa for like, I don't know, 15 bucks, something like that, you know, and it's all you really need. Then, there's one other thing you're going to need. At least I like having them for doing the preliminary test once I get the starter mounted and everything. You want a set of these guys. Hello there. See, I'm a little clippy. I'm a bigger clippy. I'm a stronger, more powerful clippy. That's what I am. Oh no, I'm just this little clippy. Get you a little test wire too. Have a couple of these handy. You can make those connections real quick with these and just check that the solenoid's firing and so forth. So a little of these test wires, whatever you want to call them, with the little alligator clips on them. Get some of those. So that's some of the stuff you should have. And that's how that circuit goes. So you can pause that if you need. And I'm going to show you it works. So, boom. And boom. Alright, I just wanted to make a comment before I fire this thing off. I'm ready for some warm weather. So, we spring forward. It's dark later in the morning. It's daylight later in the evening. But yesterday it got down to 13 degrees. I want some warm weather. Soon. You understand? This 13, 10, 9, 8 degrees is for the birds.
I like the ones that jump up in the air for it. See that one? You see? They jump up like a football player.
Okay, I got my gas hooked up, my bulb squeezed up, and let's see what we get. button's a little iffy. Okay, so that's how I do it. That's how I hook up these electric starters. Still got quite a ways to go on this little motor, but I'm going to have to take a break from it because I got a 4-stroker 20 Yamaha that a guy's chomping at the bit to get going. So I'm going to have to wait on the lower unit on this one and a few other things I want to do to it. But she's got electric start now, and that's how I hook them up. And it's pretty straightforward. The big thing is make sure your connections are super clean from the battery post all the way to the ground wire on the starter. And the other little S1, little S2s, make sure they are corrosion free, because if not, you'll put it all in there and all it'll do is go and make this little noise, or buzzing kind of noise, a humming noise, and that's a sure sign that you've got bad connections. You're not getting through. Either use new wires and crimp them. Like I said, get you one of these little kits, get you some good wire and crimp them good, and make sure all your connections are clean, shiny. Make sure you got a good hot battery, and if you hook it up like this, you can just go boom, hit the button, and they'll start right up. So that's the start on this, and like I said, I'm gonna have to take it out and bring in this 20 and see what's going on with it, because the guys called me a few times. And but another thing is, like I showed you these battery lead terminals I made. Get some good terminal lead to make your leads out of. Something like that. It's about 3/8 inch thick, good, nice copper that's shielded, tin shielded in the inside there and all. Get you some good. Spend a little bit of money on the leads, because I get a lot of engines that have been sitting out here for a while, and people bring them in. Oh no, it started fine last year. Now it's all green, yucky, corroded. And so get you some good, spend the extra money, get good, tin shielded, nice battery terminals. And most good auto parts will have it. You can buy it by the foot and so forth, and you can buy the little copper ends or whatever style you like. You can have the battery ones that you put on with a wrench, whatever you like. But make sure you get good quality leads, and make sure all your connections are good and clean, especially if you're using used products, used starter, used solenoid, and stuff like that. And in the last video, I showed you how to test the solenoid and everything. So that's how I do it, and thanks for watching. More vids are coming on Inside Outboards with your host, Cody Bass.